In the 100th year of the Giants, they had their worst season ever. In 2025, we're already getting bad news for that. We're going to break that down in a second. But first, if you want free Giants videos every single day, hit that big red sub button. Lock yourself into multiple free videos every day, all off season long, on the latest Giants news and rumors. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I know 2024 was not good to Big Blue, and I'm hoping that 2025 will be better for the New York Football Giants, but I'm not so sure it will. This team has a long way to go. They do. But I do think they are a little bit closer than maybe some people originally anticipated. But it's really going to be tough because the Giants at this moment, at the time of filming, have the hardest schedule heading into the 2025 NFL season. Based on the 2024 results for the opponents the Giants are going to face, they have the highest win percentage of anybody in the NFL at .574. So the Giants are going to enter next year facing an uphill battle because they may not have their rookie quarterback or their franchise quarterback, and they've got a really tough schedule. Look at the people that they play at home. And, of course, the New York Giants are always going to play Dallas. They're always going to play Philly. And they're always going to play the Washington Commanders. And it's always going to be tough against the Commanders and the Eagles and the Cowboys when they have franchise quarterbacks and you do not. So I'm not too worried about the home schedule against the NFC East opponents being tough. But the Kansas City Chiefs are coming. And they're always going to be as good as long as Patrick Mahomes is there. And with the Minnesota Vikings looking to make a deep run in the playoffs, they'll be coming. And the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love, they'll be coming. And the LA Chargers with Harbaugh and Herbert and another year in the system, they'll be coming. Oh, and you get to play a team that finished last in their division, the San Francisco 49ers, who are one of the most talented teams in the NFL. They just had a bad year, and I think they'll be a little bit better than 6-11 next year. The road opponents don't get much easier. You got to play the Detroit Lions, who right now are the favorites to win the NFC. The Denver Broncos, looking like they got their franchise quarterback in Bo Nix. The Chicago Bears will be hopefully a little easier, but second year Caleb Williams, I think they'll be better. The New Orleans Saints, I think, will be one of the easier games on the schedule. Year two of Drake May, the Patriots will be a little bit better. Luckily, you get to play the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Giants' 2024 record, they were 3-14. So the road opponents are a little bit easier with 4 teams winning 5 games or less. But you got 10 games in total. 10 of your 17 games on the schedule next year are against teams who made the playoffs. And you also only get 8 home games compared to 9 road games. So you got 1 more game on the road. Speaking of the home games, that's where your schedule's tough. Of the 8 games at home, 6 of your home opponents are going to the playoffs this year. And I know that the NFL changes all the time. You never really see a repeat division winner. How long was it in the NFC East before the Eagles did it? And you always see teams that make the playoffs, miss the playoffs the following year, and vice versa. But, man, some of those teams we talked about at home don't look to be slowing down anytime soon. I mean, it's only the Giants, right? You could finish 4th place with a 4th place schedule, and you have the toughest winning percentage based on 2024 results heading into the 2025 season. That's not really what the type of news I wanted to hear. To look at the glass half full, as I don't really do all that often, but I'm trying to do more in the new year. Maybe it doesn't matter, right? Maybe this does not matter. And maybe the Giants will end up having a really easy schedule. And maybe those teams will be different this year, than we talk about this time last year. The Chicago Bears, going in to the 2024 season, had the second easiest schedule in the National Football League based off of opponent winning percentage. So they were expected to come in, have an easy schedule, and Caleb Williams is going to have a great rookie year. Following the season, though, based on the actual results, based on the end record for the opponents they played in 2024, ended up being the second hardest schedule. So maybe the Giants can turn it from being the hardest schedule in the league to the easiest schedule in the league. That'd be cool. But you know what? It's a National Football League. It's the NFL. It's the league that has the most parity every year. But it's never easy. It is never easy to win games in the NFL. Ever. Ask the Indianapolis Colts how easy it was to beat the Giants in Week 17 when Drew Lock was there. They win that game, and they ended up winning, or whatever they did. They could have made the playoffs, but they lost to an inferior team any given Sunday. But I don't love the idea of entering next year with the toughest schedule in the NFL. Predict the record for me. The Giants are going to go what in 2025? It's January. It's a super early prediction. I'm curious what you guys have to say. Coming up next, the Giants did make 5 roster moves heading into free agency. Got to talk about those guys in a second. First, though, make sure you are hooked up with the best ticketing app out there and our proud sponsor, Gametime. NFL playoffs are here, and you can get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed for an NFL playoff game with our proud sponsor, Gametime. So download the app, create an account, use the promo code ChatSports, and you'll get $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. I've used Gametime a handful of times, and I've gone to an NFL playoff game before, and it's a blast. And I'm going to be looking to do so again. I've been to NBA games. I've been to the Home Run Derby. I've been to concerts. It's much more than just sporting events, theater events, concerts, comedy shows, and so much more. And if you use this all-in pricing feature, the price you see is the price you pay. No hidden fees when you get to checkout. And the Game Time Picks feature is going to make it that much more easy to go see your favorite people perform and get the best seats for the lowest price guaranteed. So what are you waiting for? Download the best ticketing app. It's Game Time. Download it. Promo code ChatSports, CHATSPORTS for $20 off first purchase where terms do apply. At the end of every season, you always see teams sign a handful of players, and they're called reserve and future contracts. Essentially, it is an early free agency period where you are allowed to sign players off of your practice squad or potentially off of other players' practice squads. And for the Giants, we have to say at the moment goodbye to a player that I have a lot of love for, and that is Isaiah Hodgins, the guy that was really a star in his role when he joined the Giants midway through the 2022 season after being waived by the Buffalo Bills. And he came and was essentially this team's number one wideout and helped them go on a playoff run where they beat the Minnesota Vikings. He may not be with the Giants anymore, though, as he is signing a reserve future contract with the San Francisco 49ers. Best wishes for him. Always got a spot in my heart for Isaiah Hodgins. Major love to you, man. Thank you for everything you did for the Giants. Casey Rogers, the defensive tackle out of Oregon, he is signed to a reserve future contract, so he will be back, and he will be here all offseason long with the New York Giants. Ross Blacklock will also be back with the Giants, 6'5", 307-pound defensive tackle out of TCU. Ended up joining the Giants practice squad later on in the season. He has been inked to a futures contract with the interior offensive lineman, the center, Jimmy Morrissey. He has signed a reserve contract as well for the New York Giants. So looking to build some depth through the practice squad. I like that. As well as Brian Hudson. He will be back with the Giants. 2 centers back on futures contracts that were on the practice squad. Hopefully that gives us some depth and maybe somebody that they can rely on next year. And then Jude McAdamy, the kicker, he will be signed to a future contract for the New York Giants. I think the Giants have to make a move at kicker. I think you got to move on from Graham Gano. You save $2.5 million if you cut him now. Save over $4 million if you cut him post June 1. And I think you need a better guy there, someone that's more in their prime and someone that's not as injury prone as Graham Gano. So maybe it is McAdamy. Maybe it is someone else. I know this. If something happens, I'm going to be breaking it down on my social media. So make sure you give me a follow at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, @MarshallGreen_ on Instagram. Hit me up, and let's go Giants.